Going on YouTube? Mox Opal back. We're going to be taking a look at the fireluke 2. Yeah, I know it's already been looked at quite a while. It's been out for quite a while, but I just recently got into a lot of sub-ohms and like the fireluke, especially like the fireluke with the bubble glass that kind of looks like a light bulb actually, which is pretty cool looking. Had a lot of flavor, but we are going to be taking a look at the fireluke 2. I actually finally found somebody that has one. This is your packaging. I accidentally broke the little plastic that's in there, but this is what it comes in, and it looks just like this. Just a neat little packaging. So I'll go ahead and open that up. Comes with your tank. Got a pre-installed coil, which I've already used it for a few days. So I just like pre-installed a secondary coil. So actually, while we're doing this, I'm going to sit here and look at this a little bit more, because I'm going to bust some juice in there while we take a look at what's inside of the package. That way, we can kind of look at every aspect and everything that there is. So with this one, it's kind of like a couple of the other firelukes. It's got this little tiny red dot right here that you're going to push, and it slides it open. Nice little drip tip piece. The only thing that I've never liked about the slide open tops, like this one's sturdy, but they need to slide open like maybe a 1/4 inch more so you can get to the fill hole just a little bit better, because the fill hole on this one, as you can see, like it's covered up quite a bit, and this is pushed out all the way. Like, you can't go no further. Other than that, it's pretty secure. Like when you close it, like you can throw it in your pocket, it isn't going to move. The drip tip, your standard, that comes with almost every sub-ohm tank anymore. Nice little drip tip on there. Got some O-rings on that part too. Nice little well that it sticks in. So actually, every time I've had it in my pocket, this drip tip doesn't fall off. Nothing leaks out the top. The only time I had it leak actually is when I was using a different tank. So I sat it here and it was like half full, and I sat it and let it sit for like 2 days. Happens. Wide open airflow on it. Just, you get a little bit of a whistle because of how wide of an airflow it is. The coils in this thing are actually pretty nice. I do have a couple of extra coils, and actually I'll grab them real quick, because it's about the only ones that I could find for this tank, weirdly enough. And they're not like the other ones. Like you got like the M Pro, Mesh Pro 2, the one that's got like that bubble tank, which was the M Pro, and the M Pro 2 Mesh actually does that too. But the coils did not interchange with each other. But this coil though is 40 to 80 watts and 0.2 ohm mesh coil. And this is a Freemax X2 coil. So whatever a Freemax X2 kind of like coil means, and we need a little more light in there. Sorry about that. And it's not a bad coil, just a little thing. I have the same exact one inside of the tank. It's as you can see, it's a dual mesh. Not too big. It stands pretty small. And tank's not very big either. I can't remember the specifications of how big the tank is, but compared to like say the M Pro, to where you get the extra bulb that looks like the light bulb, them coils are a little bit longer than what it is in here, and like the tubes themselves too, the glass pieces are actually a little bit bigger too. Especially when you put the light bulb looking one on. You put that light bulb looking one on, and that thing is actually a pretty big tank with a lot of airflow and a lot of juice capacity. Now, compared to a lot of the other ones, I do like the color design that come on all of these. It has quite a few color designs. Like I'm a big fan of like this right here, the graffiti, the red, all that type of stuff. So that's the color I picked. You guys can hop on and actually almost any website and take a look at them and pick almost any color that you want, honestly. So but compared to like what I have up here for some of that, like I have the M Pro which is a fairly good tank, but I would compare this more to probably almost my Valerian 3 or the M Pro 2. Okay, the M Pro 2 was pretty good mesh inside of there. It was pretty good flavor. So we're gonna go ahead and juice this up so we can set that aside, because then we're gonna take a look at what's actually inside the package. And we're gonna hit this with some Bad Drips Pennywise Iced Out. It's supposed to be like a bubblegum kind of mixture with a strawberry, I guess. And see, that's just a pain if you actually look at that. I gotta really get in that drip tip and squeeze just a push on it, or else all it just did was made this big old mess of this bubble, because you can't tilt your bottle and your nozzle in there. So I guess the only easy way would be get like the ones that let the glass drippers, or the old school Gorilla Chubby bottles that you can sit there and just, you know, kind of squeeze right on in there pretty well. We're not going to put much in there, so we're going to let that sit and kind of soak up a little bit. We're going to be throwing that on top of the Drag 3 today, though, too. I just love testing stuff on the Drag 3. That way you also don't mess up a coil, actually, when you do a drag, something on the Drag 3. Actually, is this the Drag 3? Yeah, this is the Drag 3. Just because when you throw something on the drag, like if you keep it in standard mode on the Drag 3, that'll pop up the smart chip, and then won't let you go past a certain wattage on the smart chip, as you've seen, just so you don't burn your coils. It's a little smart thing that's built inside of it. So I usually, when I get a new tank, I throw it on there, so I like, okay, this is the maximum that I can go. So even if I throw it on, say, like an unregulated mod or anything like that that doesn't have a smart chip inside of it, I know what I can set it at without burning the coil. Unlike some people are like, oh, well, this coil is rated for like 200 watts, so I'm gonna run it at like 240 just because I like that hotter of a hit. Like the TFV16, some of the coils only run to like 90 watts, but you can throw a TFV16 like I did on an Aegis X, and I ran it at 110 watts to 130 watts with an iced out juice, and not once did it burn the coil. Well, until the coil was done, you know, for the week. I mean, because after about a week I changed my coils anyways. So, but still, yet running it at like 30 watts higher didn't do anything to it. But some coils you do that to, you will burn them out pretty quickly. So the companies really need to step in and kind of regulate their wattage. I mean, for a tank this small and a 0.2 ohm, you really think 40 to 60 watts is actually kind of low, honestly. I mean, to me, that would be kind of low. I would probably run it at about 60 to 70 watts, maybe, depending on the type of resistance that's on it, because 0.2 ohm, like I just ran a 0.2 ohm on my RDA and got it to, like, I think 90 watts before it got too hot, and even had a little bit of a dry hit on an RDA. So, but anyways, getting back to what we were doing, this is the fireluke 2. Come in a pretty cool looking package. It's got a little bear actually on the side of that. Always got your little warnings that are inside of there. This one's a graffiti style. This is a fireluke 2 TX2 mesh coil, 0.2 ohm, 40 to 80 watts pre-installed. So the coils that I got, actually, that I bought from the store, are different coils. So there are different coils then. You get an extra TX1 mesh coil, which is a 0.15, 40 to 90 watts. Extra 5mm glass tube and an extra O-ring, and both of them have, looks like, capacity of 5 milliliters, which isn't too bad. So we're gonna go ahead and take that on out, which I usually save these sometimes if you don't break them, or if they actually close the right way, just so I don't bust the glass. Alright, so the glass that comes in, it is another bubble glass, which actually I know these ones for a fact. These are usually only like 3 milliliters, because usually the bigger ones, excuse me, come pre-installed. So this is probably about a 3 milliliter once you actually put it in there and throw the coil inside of there. Actually did come with quite a bit of extra O-rings. You can take these cards that come on the inside too, and it actually has instructions across that of how to actually use the tank, adjust the airflow. Wow, actually has quite a bit of stuff that it shows you on the instructions. So they actually set that package up pretty well. Good job on that, because a lot of companies won't even do that. Like the Valerian 3 I got actually had all them instructions too. TFV16s that are such big tanks, and like Horizon Techs and all that type of ones too that also come inside of like these packages. They don't ever come with them instructions. It's like, oh, here's your scratch and sniff, here's your tank, here's, you know, just your normal stuff. That's actually pretty nice, because a lot of people would have reamed on the top of that and be like, how does this open, and end up breaking it, and oh, it's a faulty, you know, kind of tank, when it's not. It's their fuck up. But the only extra O-rings that actually come in here is going to be for the top, basically your normal, for where the drip tip sits, and then the 2 O-rings for the bubble glass, you know, for the top and the bottom on the inside. And that is literally it that comes in the package. So you get your tank, the bubble, or the bubble glass. You get a coil already installed. You get a coil on the inside of it. And that is legitly it. So we're going to actually vape on this a little bit and see if this, being that there's not much that comes in here, like I said, your tank, your extra bubble glass, 2 coils, and your O-rings. Let's see if this is actually worth 40 bucks. Because I've bought some $40 tanks that were pretty amazing. They came with a lot more. Okay, so like I said, these coils are rated for. These are a 0.2, so 40 to 80 watt dual mesh coil. We're gonna be running at 50 watts on the drag, which actually doesn't overhang on a drag size mod. For all you little nitpickers about it. Good airflow, actually, when when it's filled up. Dense clouds. Flavor's there, but it's muted, kind of. Like there's something missing, kind of like muted with the flavor. Definitely could have a little bit more flavor. The fire time on it and the ramp up time on the coil is amazing. The capacity actually is not bad. The airflow is nice. The drip tip feels comfortable, like really comfortable actually. I might actually end up taking that off, putting it on some of the other tanks and utilizing it. I like that feel. The drip tip's actually pretty nice. The flavor though, I mean, it is a bad drip. Bad drips are actually a name brand company. Like Farley Gnarly didn't have really a good review because of the bubble gum. This is Pennywise with the bubble gum, and it's iced out. It's not really iced out. I'm getting a lot of flavor from it. It just feels like there could be more flavor. I mean, it could just be the juice, though, too. So I'm not going to dog on the tank just because of the juice. So, I mean, I am getting flavor from it. I'm getting a lot of airflow. And that's on 80 watts. Full open on there, too. As you can see, the airflow is right there. So what you adjusted on one side is going to be on the other side. It does have a pin that's in there, too, so it does stop. And like it will not let you go no further, so you can't just round robin on it. And like I said, you got the push top. Only thing that sucks is that push top that's up top. I mean, it just, them tops suck for filling juice. They need to move them to where they open about a 1/4 inch more. So as of right now, I give this, I go like a 5-star rating. I'm going to give this about a 3.5 compared to other ones, because the M Pro has a lot of flavor. The tank is actually really good. The bubble glass, it looks like a light bulb, is really cool. So aesthetically, it's really nice looking, and it has a lot of capacity. It has a lot of airflow. But if you're someone that's about sleekness and a very sturdy design, I mean, the M Pro is like that, but this is actually pretty sturdy. It's an all-around good tank. I mean, I'm nitpicking. If the airflow was maybe restricted a little bit more and didn't whistle as much, and this opened just a little bit more to actually put more juice in there, and let's regulate the coils a little bit better than 40 to 80, especially for a 0.2 ohm, or even the 0.15 ohm for 90 watts, like, because it won't even let me go to 80 watts on here because of the smart chip. It only lets you go to 60 watts. Anything past 60 watts, actually, and I've tried it because I've switched it to RDA mode so you can go up a little bit higher so I can check the rating. You ain't going to get to about 80 watts, and it's going to dry right out and burn. Even at like 70, it was kind of But we're going to put it on the 60 to where the smart chip will let me actually go to. Okay, so see, the higher it goes in wattage, I just got a lot more flavor. It was a lot more dense feeling, and it wasn't as muted. So we really need to come in and regulate the coils. I mean, Freemax usually makes pretty good stuff. Firelukes, good tanks, durable, really sleek. You can take this on the go with you. Almost anywhere, honestly. I mean, it's not that big of a tank, and it's not really burning through the juice all that quick. So let's switch this to the RDA mode, which is only 3 clicks for people that don't know. Let's put it up to 70 watts. See if we can't get more flavor out of it and more clouds. Why not? Okay, so see, at 70 watts, I'm getting a little bit more flavor. There was a tiny spit back because of how hot it gets, but not bad. So let's go up to the max rating on it at 80 watts then. Even more flavor. So at max wattage, I would have to say that actually has quite a bit of flavor. The airflow could, like I said, could be dumbed down a little bit more so it's not whistling, and keep getting all that vape juice in the mustache. Yeah, it's all good. Need to restrict the airflow just a little bit so it doesn't feel like that you're just sucking a bunch of wind in though either. That way we can get a little bit of a restricted hit on it a little bit more. Maybe it'll help with the cloudage and the density of the juice. But let's see how regulated this is. Let's go up to 90 watts on there. So you can't do 90. Right at the end of that hit, I could feel it and taste it, that it was starting to actually dry it right out and burn it. So definitely keep her from 80 to 60. Don't go no further than that on the 40. It mutes the flavor on 40, so this should have been regulated actually 60 to 80, not 40 to 80. 40 on there is just, it's not going to cut it. 60 to 80 if you want flavor. 80 is, I'm going to have to say 80 is where it's at. And since actually we got it to where 80 watts, the flavor is actually pretty decent, we're going to give that actually a 4 out of a 5 rating. So I'm going to have to say pretty good job, Freemax. For the pros of it, it's pretty sleek compared to, say, the M Pro, which actually, I'll grab an M Pro for you so you can see the difference. Okay, so you got this, which is the fireluke 2 compared to the M Pro. And as you can see, the M Pro is quite a bit bigger, quite a bit more sleek, designs on that. A stainless steel, bubble glass that looks like a light bulb. Flavor in these are phenomenal, so it's almost like that. It still has the stainless steel, except for like the drip tip is plastic on this one, to where this one's stainless steel. This one stands a little bit tall, like not taller per se. The M Pro is a little taller. The coils do not fit from this Freemax into this Freemax tank. Unfortunately, that'd been nice to utilize them, because they're such cool tanks. Like the graffiti style of this, and still yet even on the M Pro, it's still got the slide top. So, I mean, to the pros, good design on the coil. Good design on the airflow with the little lock-in pin. It's full open. It stops you because a lot of people try to ream on it. Cons, let's restrict that airflow. Let's regulate them coils in there a little bit more. Let's actually take them coils and let's make them utilize to the other tanks though too. Because I couldn't even put this in my other fireluke, weirdly enough, because they're like TX coils or something like that. I don't know, they're weird. The slide open top is my biggest con. Make it to where you can move it about a 1/4 inch more. Just a little bit more, so we're not dropping juice everywhere. We don't want to waste juice. We want to keep vaping. We don't want to waste. That's just all there is to it. Nobody likes a waste. Nobody. But as this sits, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 rating. So, go ahead and pick one up. You can get them offline anywhere. You can get them probably at your local stores anywhere. It's all around a pretty good tank. Something I would use on a daily basis. It depends on where I go, actually. And I probably might. But, Mox Opal, signing out.